Hey guys, I'm just making a short video comparing a few deburring techniques. I got into a discussion on a forum where it was suggested that pulling an apex through wood or through a cork could be just as effective a deburring technique as shearing off the burr with high angle passes. So I've got here, you should be able to see that at least at some point in this arc, again, the Colton Cutlery quarter pattern necker that I use for most of these demonstrations because it's $10.95 and quick to grind. And it's got a large, easy to detect burr created on a Norton India fine stone. And so I'm going to try a couple of deburring techniques and we'll see how they work. Okay, so now that I've fixed the iris on the camera, this is a piece of pine, I think. Just a cheap piece of wood I had kicking around. And so I'm going to try and deburr it on this. So stick it into the corner and so that's just been pulled through, and let's see how effective that was. Well, it'll slice somewhat, but it will not push cut with the grain. I'm going to cut in some footage from my microscope showing you a close-up of what this looks like after the first deburring pass and what it looked like before I started trying to deburr it. Alright, so let's give this another shot and see if we can get a little bit of a better result this time. Maybe I have to pull a little bit harder through the wood to get the intended effect. Okay, that's second pull through the wood. Now let's see. Well, it's still not slicing newsprint very well, and I don't suspect it's going to be very good at push cutting it. Maybe a little bit. And now I'll give you some images of that with a microscope. Well, okay, maybe we'll try the cork instead. So, okay, that's pulled through the cork. Well, it's a little better, but still not what I would call great. Well, okay, we'll give it a few more tries. Again, a little bit better, but you know, it's not exactly what I would call deburred. Now, let's try something a little more like what I was showing in the video where I showed shearing off a burr. So I'm going to set this at about 40 degrees to the stone. Or 45 degrees to the stone. Make couple high-angle deburring passes. And before we even sharpen out the micro bevel, let's see what the result is. Not so bad. Now just get a little more mineral oil on here, and we can back sharpen out. Right. Well, there's nothing quite like barely push-cutting newsprint across the grain off of a 320 grit Norton India fine stone. Well, I can't say I was expecting that level of performance out of the Apex. I don't think I've ever managed to push-cut newsprint across the grain off of a Norton India fine before, ever, actually. But nonetheless, I think that serves as an adequate demonstration of how much more effective shearing off the burr can be than trying to rip it off by pulling an apex through wood or through cork several times.